Welcome, everyone. Good morning. We're glad that you've joined us. This is our What You Need to Know from FLATE Manufacturing Day 2014 webinar. We see that we still have a few panelists joining in and a few participants are coming on board, and we're excited about that. This is FLATE's What You Need to Know Manufacturing Day 2014 informational webinar. My name is Daesh Bagley. I am the Outreach Manager for FLATE. FLATE is the Advanced Technological Education Center of Excellence. And I do believe we are going to get started. FLATE is a National Science Foundation Regional ATE Center focusing on advanced manufacturing. Our goals include being a leading resource for education and training expertise, leadership, projects, and services to promote and support the workforce in the advanced manufacturing community. We're pleased that you've joined us for this one-hour webinar focusing on Florida's plans for Manufacturing Day 2014. Your hostesses today are Dr. Marilyn Barger, the Executive Director of FLATE, me, Daesh Bagley, Outreach Manager for FLATE, and Janice Mukia, FLATE's Communications Specialist. Dr. Barger will serve as a panelist today and give us an overview of the planning that took place last year for Florida's 2013 Manufacturing Day. Welcome to everyone who has joined on. We're very excited that you're here, and we're happy to start the planning for Manufacturing Day 2014. We will be having a question and answer session during this webinar, and we would like for all participants to type your questions in the chat window at the bottom of your screen. We'll discuss that procedure in a moment. Please know that we'll try to answer as many questions as time will allow, and if we're unable to answer your questions during the webinar, we'll be sure to post answers to all of the questions on FLATE's Manufacturing Day 2014 website. I'd like to start with a brief orientation of the Collaborate interface, and we are going to just make sure that everyone is aware of the chat window. The chat window appears on the left-hand side of your screen. Our webinar agenda for today includes the following 4 things. We're going to have a National Manufacturing Day overview, an overview of Manufacturing Day for Florida 2013. We'll introduce our 2013 Manufacturing Day speakers panel, and then we'll have a question and answer discussion session as much as time will allow. Our objectives for this webinar are to establish partnerships and collaborations among regional manufacturers associations, colleges, manufacturers, schools, and local governments. We'd like to understand the logistics involved in coordinating Manufacturing Day activities, including surveying students. And we'd like to help everyone understand how to work with school district personnel to match schools with companies, to request transportation, and to request teacher support. Last but not least, the main objective is to host meaningful Manufacturing Day events for everyone. Today's presenters are Pat Lee, and Pat Lee is the Director of Marketing for Fabricators and Manufacturers Association International. She's on the board for the National Manufacturing Day. Dr. Marilyn Barger is the Executive Director of FLATE. Ernie Friend is the Director of Academic Systems at Florida State College in Jacksonville. Sarah LaField is an educator with Marion County Schools and affiliated with Marion County Regional Manufacturers Association. Mike Ramsey is a CTE supervisor with Hillsborough County Schools, and Dave Gonzalez is an HR manager with Herbiger Corporation of America. Let's get started with Pat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being allowed to come and join you on this planning webinar. And I represent the National Manufacturing Day co-producers, which include the Fabricators and Manufacturers Association, the National Association of Manufacturers, the Manufacturing Institute, and the NIST MEP program of the Department of Commerce. We are going to be talking about this year. I do want to take an opportunity, though, to just kind of recap where Manufacturing Day has been and where we're going. In 2012, when Manufacturing Day was invented, We had a total of 240 events nationwide. 8 of those events were in Florida. Last year, 832 events nationwide and 71 in Florida. And finally, our goal for 2014 is 1,200 events. And gosh, perhaps today is the day we'll figure out how many events we're going to have in Florida. So first of all, on behalf of the national program, I want to say congratulations to FLATE and all of its partners and participating companies in the state of Florida for absolutely outstanding participation in 2013. Your state has been a model of how to get collaboration going and really make the most out of an event like this in your state. I would have to say you've done as good a job or better a job than any other state I can think of. So kudos to all of you. I know it was a lot of work, but it was a great, great outcome. Now, as far as the national program goes, each year what we try to do is to advance where we've been the year before, to take comments from all of our participants, and to try to do things that will make this easier and more user-friendly for the people who participate. So for 2014, we have done quite a few updates to our website, and we are continuing with website updates that will appear between now and probably July, all designed to make the website more user-friendly for our host companies to register their events, to let people register to attend their events, and then to track those attendees. For those of you who allowed people to register for your events on our website last year, one thing that we heard uniformly across the country was we'd like to be able to pull a list of attendees so that we can check it, and as it updates, we know who's coming and what their contact information is. That feature has been installed, and so now when you are logged in as a host, you have a dashboard, and when you go to your dashboard, one of the things you can do is to pull a list of all of the registered attendees. It's not going to matter too much to you right at the moment, but as we get closer to the event into September, that will be an important feature. We are also creating some new resources for both manufacturers and for guests. All of those designed to give people more insight into manufacturing, more insight into the jobs that are possible in manufacturing, so that people can get better educated about why they should care about manufacturing and why they should consider that field as a career. Our new student educator resource section is going to include a scholarship search feature for students who get excited on manufacturing days, say, wow, I think I'd like to go into a career. What can I do next? One of the things they will be able to do is to search the various organizations that give scholarships to students who are studying for manufacturing careers. And we think that's going to be a big step forward in terms of helping students and parents and educators to encourage students to really seriously start to plan for a manufacturing career. Last year, we had a partnership that began with the Science Channel, and particularly their How It's Made program, which is their #1 viewed program. And that partnership is going to continue this year. And that's important to all of you because that is how many of the consumers in your state who may not know anything about manufacturing will find out about Manufacturing Day, be driven to see what's going on in their own communities, and therefore come to the website, the official website, and find your events. So that Science Channel partnership we think is going to be very important to continue to drive consumer interest. We have a brand new partnership this year with a movie production company that created a documentary last year called American Made Movie. This documentary is not readily available to be seen in theaters. The production company grants licenses to organizations to be able to do public showings. And when they learned about Manufacturing Day, they wanted to make licenses available to our hosts and the coordinating organizations that are putting together Manufacturing Day events so that that movie can be shown in conjunction with Manufacturing Day, either as a preliminary kind of announcement date, or perhaps something that's done actually on Manufacturing Day, or something that can be done after Manufacturing Day. Back to the slides here. So that is something we will be announcing to hosts and to the coordinating organizations like FLATE and your partners in the very near future. Finally, there will be this year a major market media push that we're going to be doing in September, because while the word is getting out into the manufacturing community, there is still a long way to go to make sure that the general public knows about Manufacturing Day. So we are putting together a public relations program that will hit media, television, and newspaper media in major cities around the country. I would imagine Tampa is going to be one of those markets. And finally, we have some new invitational videos that are in production right now. There will be a video that's being created specifically for kids and teachers. That video will be coming out in June. And we also have an invitational video that will be created specifically to invite manufacturers who have not yet participated in the program to do so this year. So there's a lot of exciting new stuff happening. We're really thrilled that the momentum is growing, and just want to share with you that as you have set new goals for yourself and getting more people involved in the state of Florida, the national program has set a goal as well. Our 10-year goal is to have 75% of all the manufacturers in North America participate in this. And that is hundreds of thousands of companies. So thank you for being on the cutting edge and joining us at the beginning. Now, I would like to turn this over to Marilyn Barber, who's going to recap what happened in Florida last year. Marilyn?
Thank you, Pat. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. I'm going to just take a minute to review what we did do in Florida last year. We started out early in the summer trying to decide what would be a good plan, working with a few stakeholders here in the Tampa Bay area, mostly at that time, trying to figure out who could do what and what we could do together to make a good experience for students. So we were focused on student events and student tours being the primary event, but we were also interested in open houses if those work better in different parts of the country at colleges or companies. We wanted the students to have lunch when they visited the facilities, just gave them some time to talk to some of the employees and get a little bit more involved with the experience they just had. For us, for most schools, it also works because the school buses are available in the middle of the day when they're not shuffling students to and from home, and so it's generally lunchtime when those buses were available. So we thought that would be a nice way to involve industry and get them to be able to talk to the students a little bit more than you can do out on the floor in the tours. We also wanted the students to have T-shirts or some kind of takeaway, and we settled on T-shirts for that and put that into our kind of portfolio and tried to find the sponsors to pay for those shirts. We wanted to continue our surveying of the student tours and student events, which we've been doing with all of our Made in Florida tours over the years. So we wanted to be able to continue that, and we also thought, well, we better figure out how we're going to collect tour surveys from all over the state on one particular day. So we worked on some of that. And then we encouraged the state and regional areas. This primarily was our Regional Manufacturing Association partners that all work together with MAF. They were primarily responsible for getting local proclamations, and MAF, our statewide organization, got a governor's proclamation for Manufacturing Day. And of course, lastly, probably not lastly, but we need to have good press and a lot of exposure both before the event and the day of the event, and then of course afterwards. So putting all those things into place, FLATE really played the role as a coordinator. We helped different groups around the state figure out how they could do whatever it was they could do, whatever it was they could get done, and what partners were available and were interested in helping. So that was the role that we played, just trying to help the various groups find schools or find companies or find other organizations that would partner with them, and helping them put together a good package, give them tips on the tours, give them help to get the events coordinated locally. So just to recap, this is on our website with the statewide totals for last year. We had 20 events in 24 counties. We had 2,300 students attending these different events. A lot of them were tours to manufacturing facilities. We were pretty pleased with getting about half of those, or more than half of those surveys from the students back, and I thank you, all of you who are on the phone right now, for working with us on that detail. We had 110 teachers and educators participate as chaperones going on the tours with the students, 71 parents, 67 Florida schools, 225 employees from 72 manufacturers and colleges participated helping with the different events. So we think that was a great start. I'll have to say that our goal was last year when we sat down the first day was to have 200 tours last year, so we're still pushing for 200 this year going into 2014. So our participants are now going to talk a little bit more about some of the details on their different areas, what how they actually worked. But we'll stop here for some questions if you have any questions for Pat or myself, and I'll let Janice see if we've got anything.
We have,
okay.
This is Daesh.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Daesh. We did have a question from Roy Sweatman. Roy is owner CEO of SMT in Tampa, and he was wondering if we could try for possibly a week, doing a manufacturing week for Florida, because he said last time they had to turn down some
tours. Right, I remember that, Roy. Well, I'll answer from our Florida efforts. We actually included we didn't advertise it. We felt that having as many events as we could on the actual day would be the most impactful, but we included all the events that happened. I think we probably included events within 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. We had events in September. We had some in the middle of October. So any of those activities would certainly be fine. We would work with you to make those happen, which is what we did last year, depending on what works for different companies. If they wanted to do more. And in one case, the company's closed on Fridays, for example, so they didn't want to do it. They couldn't do it on the actual manufacturing day. So the best thing to do is just kind of let us know, and we'll definitely be trying to make sure that any event that falls in the reasonable window, I will say, we'll work with you for that. I think the Manufacturing Association of Florida is asking for a manufacturing month to be named. FLATE's going to focus on the student events, and we're going to try to do what we can do mostly on that manufacturing day, but if it spills over, that's okay with us too.
I want to echo that, Marilyn, from the perspective of the national program as well. We really welcome events on any day in October, and really would like them added to the national website, because we feel that with all the states that are now taking action to declare October Manufacturing Month, we need to accommodate as many schedules as we can, and we understand as well that sometimes things aren't open on Fridays. Schools may be closed for a reason on a particular Friday. So any day in October that you'd like to do an event, we'd love to have you post it to the national site.
Great questions, and I think that was also echoed. This is Daesh again. That was echoed by Margie and Peter Bagwell, Peter of Polygon, and Margie of Florida Trade at Pasco Venando State College. That those are the same sentiments, that not everybody could do it on those days, but we could spread it out and just make sure we capture the data. At least I know from a FLATE standpoint, trying to get the data captured and analyzed within a timely manner is so important. And if we spread it out too long, then the data becomes diluted simply because it's harder to get the immediate impact.
Okay. Was there anything else? We could take one more maybe? Or is that it? We can move on.
Right, and that was June is also just echoing the fact that Manufacturing Month, perhaps with MAF, with the kickoff being October 3rd.
Okay, that sounds great.
I guess,
great.
Yeah, we're ready to get started. Ernie Friend is we'll be talking about building effective partnerships. Sarah will talk about Manufacturing Day logistics. Mike or I will talk about school district involvement, and Dave Gonzalez will wrap us up with how to host a great Manufacturing Day event. We'll get started with Ernie.
Yeah, hello everybody. Desh, I'm not sure if, let me see, yeah, I can forward the slides. So hello everybody, my name is Ernie Friend from Florida State College. Yeah, so we had a good time last year supporting the Manufacturing Day. I think what made it really successful for us is a strong partnership with the local Manufacturing Association. And I don't know if anybody from FCMA is on the call. If I have a minute at the end, maybe they could speak to what they thought about the event. But certainly strong support from the local Manufacturing Association was key for us. We also have collaborations with the Florida Trade Grant, as well as some other grants that we've got help support where we could we bought some T-shirts and helped the students connect with buses in high schools and so forth. So heavy involvement from the local manufacturing companies. Certainly a lot of that was assisted by the FCMA. And also here locally, I think there was already discussed, but certainly you've got to get the word out. Our local paper, the mayor, the board of commissioners for different counties that surround us were all involved, and it made the event pretty successful up here, I think. So basically we had 12 manufacturing companies that participated, about 420 high school students attended. So the different activities depended on what the company could do, when the high school could go, and that kind of stuff. But FCMA, Florida Trade, and the manufacturers donated money to ensure all the students had shirts and lunches. And I think that was important, that the students felt like, it really helped the students feel like this was a big deal by getting a shirt and the lunch. So this is a list of some of the companies that participated. Some are more local, but some are national, international companies. And they all did a great job on supporting the effort here in Jacksonville. Here's a few pictures you can see. I just want to add a couple things. I think from the students' perspective, I think this was a great day to help change perceptions about manufacturing, certainly in Jacksonville, and it seemed to make a huge difference. I don't know if Maryland's going to have time to go over the results at all, but certainly, the feedback we had made a big difference. I think from the employer's perspective, they all want to help, and this gave them a good avenue to help and work with the education community. I think from our perspective as a school, it helped two ways. It helped build better relationships with the high schools, with the high school student. Also, it helped us build better relationships with local employers because they definitely want to help. This gave them a venue to help, and it really led to some partnerships after the event. And I know most, if not all, of these companies are really excited about participating next year. Now I only had a few minutes, and I want to keep us on schedule, so that's really all I have for now. If there's other questions, I think we're going to answer those at the end. But let me just ask real quick, is there anybody from FCMA that was able to make the call today that wanted to add anything?
Ernie, I know that Sherry Mitchell had to go off to a wedding. She was actually our first choice to speak today, but she has a family wedding. So I know she's not on the call, and I think Debbie had a conflict as well. I don't see.
Okay. Well, let me go ahead and end it there. Yeah, thanks. Let me go ahead and end it there. And so we have next is Sarah. Sarah, you want to take it from here?
Yes, sir, as long as everybody can hear me.
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yay! Okay, wonderful. Yes, I'm Sarah Lafitte. I work with Marion County Schools, which is in the Ocala area there, and I'm also a member of the Marion Regional Manufacturing Association, which is, we call ourselves Mr. Ma for short. And so I know this slide here is pretty busy, but I wanted to mostly, oops, it just went back.
There you go.
Share just kind of the logistics, because we do have 9 different high schools, and wanted to try to, get as many students involved as we possibly could. So to start, in August, Mr. Ma helped partner with me, and we organized a group. We invited a lot of different manufacturing businesses throughout the community and some representatives to come and kind of pitched what our idea was and how we wanted to get them engaged and help organize some tours, which, like I said, it looks pretty busy here, but I wanted to show you exactly how everything kind of got laid out there, because different businesses had different schedules, obviously, and they all kind of agreed they only wanted a maximum of 30 students at a time, and we wanted to try to give students a exposure to a couple of different businesses. And it was very, very successful showing and really, exposing these students to it. We have 9 high schools, 6 of which have either engineering programs or automation and production, those types of things. So we targeted them first. But then we also had a group that I helped organize tours for with different industries throughout the year, and so it was a club, and that was really great because there were a lot of females in that club and wanted to, expose them to manufacturing, whereas they might not otherwise, think that they were interested in it. So that particular group I was really proud of as well, because it really opened their eyes, and they had a lot of great feedback with that as well. And so it is definitely very beneficial to have somebody within the school district to be able to communicate and organize things, because, obviously I have contact with all of those instructors and administrators and so forth. So, it was fun organizing, how many shirts we were going to need, obviously. Had lots of wonderful sponsorships. It was called Workforce at the time, but now it's Career Source, obviously, and they helped pay for our shirts. And they paid for 1 bus ride. And I sent an email out to all the teachers saying, see if your school will support the transportation. If not, let me know, and we would try to get those things organized. So that's what happened there. And then we also did put out a press release to our local press affiliates, just telling them what we were going to do. We were able to get a proclamation in our county for Manufacturing Day. And then we did have some press coverage. We had the newspaper come and follow one of the groups. So that was really wonderful as well. And we even had some companies that were not able to be involved got really excited, and I know they'll be involved this year because they saw, what was happening in our community. And so just to give you a few examples of the companies and the groups that we did. And we as well had Townley Manufacturing is the bottom left-hand corner picture there. They weren't able to do Friday. They were able to do Thursday. So that was wonderful. We had that group of kids be able to go on Thursday, and it was all still, included in the press release and everything. They were included on our T-shirt. We put all of the business logos that were involved on the back of the T-shirt. And then the College of Central Florida also, along with Mr. Mott, had this mobile welding training unit. And so they parked that at the college, and we made that one of the stops and one of the visits as well, so that they could go in and kind of do a hands-on involvement on what that training unit is as well. So kind of a little different. It wasn't exactly a business tour, but it was definitely something that contributed to their experience there. And then lastly, I was just going to touch on those student surveys. FLATE was, has been so wonderful and supportive in communicating with us as we're organizing this event, giving us lots of fun information that we can share with the students, the FLATE video ahead of time, so that they can really prepare for what they're going to be able to see. And then they have these post surveys. And the results were really positive, which obviously doesn't surprise any of us that are, passionate about this industry, but it was really neat to see, their eye-opening experience, and that they will really, consider employment in this area if they weren't already, because of that exposure, because of what they really get to see. Is there any questions for me? I know I went super fast, so I wanted to stick to the timeline here. Okay, wonderful. Well, I would like to then now introduce our next speaker, which is Mr. Mike Ramsey from Hillsborough County Schools. Take it away, Mr. Mike.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm Daesh. I'm not Mike, but I think I can substitute in for Mike. He has willingly agreed to be a panelist today, and I'm sure with the busy schedule going on in the district, that something important must have come up. So I will briefly share what Mike was going to share, which is that school district involvement in Manufacturing Day is such a wonderful thing. Typically, if we can have a target audience of the students who would most likely engage in a manufacturing career, that's who we should aim for our Manufacturing Day. And so what FLATE did was we contacted CTE, ACT, and CAPE programs to see if we could begin to build relationships between the manufacturers, the teachers, and the students, as well as government officials. Mike Ramsey was one of the first CTE supervisors to step up to the plate, as well as some in Pasco County and Pinellas County and Manatee County, Sarasota County. Arnell Cox was in Sarasota County helping us out, and Doug Wagner was in Manatee County. And it was awesome just to get the support from the school district with regards to transportation and substitute teacher compensation, so that it would free the teachers up to take the students on the tour. There are some huge benefits to getting school district involved, as you'll see on the slides. It helps the students connect the dots between what they're learning in the classroom and how it's being used in the industry, and students can begin to explore careers in manufacturing. And I'll just ditto what Roy Sweatman said, perhaps sending that special invitation to some of those CTE teachers, some of the guidance, college and career guidance counselors will also help to improve our attendance by those particular people. The school district, typically we want to go for the best personnel, and so whoever you have in your region, that would be a great coordinator. That's the key person you want to contact. The district can help us figure out which schools would be a match for which companies. I'm sorry, no, the slides are running away from me here. See, what we were discussing once before was that if there is a school with a welding program, then it's really nice to match them with a company that does a lot of welding and machining and that sort of thing, fabrication with those methods. If there's a school with a robotics program, then it's nice to match the school with the industry. And then, of course, additional press releases. So whereas with FLATE, we did, Janice is our communications specialist, and she did a phenomenal job of putting out press releases for everyone throughout the state of Florida. School districts also have special people on hand that can give out press releases for Manufacturing Day, so that we can give as much coverage as possible. It's great coverage for the industry leaders, and it's great coverage for the school district, and then again it helps to change the perception of the community in general about what manufacturing has to offer. So that's basically what Mike was going to share, and we'll turn it over to Dave, who is HR Manager at Herbiger Corporation.
Thank you, and welcome to everyone, and thank you for attending our meeting today. I think this is a very important program that is able to bring the youth into our organizations. As you know, one of the biggest challenges we have is replacing those that are getting ready to retire from our companies, and providing students with a new view of what manufacturing is. As many people out there understand, unless you're in manufacturing, you don't realize that it's not the dark, dirty place that it used to be 20, 30 years ago. And some of the thoughts I have regarding the events that we held. We worked with the South Florida Manufacturers Association to coordinate a number of events with ourselves as well as other manufacturers in the area. And one of the big things is making sure the entire company is really involved in the program. We were fortunate that we had 2 tours run that day. We had about 50 students in the first one, say about 45 in the second one, from 2 different schools. And also partnered up with one of the other local businesses, another manufacturing organization, where one of the schools actually was able to tour their facility, which was a company that manufactures robotic surgery equipment. So really high-tech type stuff. Then they got the chance to see ours, which is a lot of machining, assembly, etc. And they got to see both worlds of manufacturing, where one's in clean rooms, one's not. But it's still not. It's still a very viable opportunity for them. And one of the best things that we did, and a suggestion is, we got some of our younger employees to actually be the hosts for the tours, taking the students around. The students could relate to them a little bit better, and taking them around, showing them the entire operation from the engineering department to accounting to the manufacturing floor, so they could see it's not just working on the floor, but it's also working in other areas. We're fortunate we're able to invite a number of other individuals within the local area here to participate as well. Some of the challenges, though, that you have to be aware of is having that many people, you have to do a lot of coordination. With our 50, we actually broke them into groups of about 10 to 12. And then making sure they're not on top of each other, moving them through the facility. And that can be a challenge, and it does require quite a bit of training, or I should say planning. And I know this year we'll be doing quite a bit more, eating off some of the things that we learned. We actually had presentations already set up and video descriptions of exactly what they were going to see. We were fortunate in that manner. However, I think it's great to put together an overview presentation of who your company is, what you do, what you make, so that they have a basic understanding of what they're going to see as they move through the entire organization, and taking a look at the different products and how they're manufactured. So it's a great program. Some of the things to think about, if you're in a metropolitan area, if you can try to take care of 2 schools with smaller groups, because typically there's not as many manufacturing entities around there, that would be great. If you're in more of a rural area, then spending more time with the student body, I would recommend doing, so you can give them even more attention. Any questions?
None so far.
Okay, well, thank you.
I happened to be at that Her Bigger tour. This is Daisha again, and I will say, Dave, you guys did a great job, and SFMA really did a good job of getting, I think it was Bank of America that did the transportation for your group. It wasn't the school district, but another company stepped up, and the kids had a great time. Dr. Barger, we are going to, if there are no questions, we are going to move on for our conclusion.
Okay. So I just want to take a couple of minutes to wrap up what we heard today from our partners. That there's the National Effort for Manufacturing Day, and why it's important. We want to thank Pat for joining us for that, and giving us that big view, and also some nice new resources that they're going to be rolling out during the summer months that we can all take advantage of on their website. We also took a look at the activities that we held here in Florida. I know it was kind of a scramble last September getting everything put together and figuring out how to make sure that everybody who wanted to participate, if they were a school, or we had some other organizations, which we didn't actually mention, but some other groups that came to us and wanted to participate, and we tried to make sure they had a place to go or an activity to get involved with. We got to look at some logistics. Sarah was great sharing some of the details about how they implemented their tours in the Ocala area with the Marion region. And hopefully we're getting some more ideas for what we might do or be able to host in this coming year, 2014. We want everybody to participate that can in whatever way they can, big or small, tours or hosting events or helping in other ways. So there's generally something for everybody, some way to participate. I guess for the details of that, the platform we set out to do is to try to engage the school districts for the transportation like Desh mentioned, to get the companies to support whatever giveaways they might have at their facilities for the students, but also to provide the lunch and the time for the lunch. We went to some other organizations, professional organizations, and I think Sarah said in her area that the Workforce and now Career Source and different organizations that were not really hosts for the tours donated money for the shirts for the different regions. That money was collected, it was actually collected on our website, but we associated it with the different regions, and then the shirts went out to those different regions to distribute to the students. So we organized all of that and shipped out the shirts to the different areas across the state. So there was a variety of professional organizations and some companies, all kinds of people who were interested in the shirt, providing helping by providing the shirts, funds for the shirts. And then I guess lastly, we were in charge of making sure everybody got surveys and trying to make sure they got back, as many of them got back to us as we possibly could get back. So we're real happy that we got that nice big 50% and hopefully get at least that many this coming year. It's real important to host events, but we think it's also important to understand what kind of impact it might have on the students, and besides that, get additional ideas for what we might be able to do better next time, or other ideas that people come up with as they go through one event to start planning for the next event. So lastly, we're going to be sending out an email to everyone who registered or who is on this webinar. We'll send out a link to the recorded session and a link to the websites that we've mentioned, including the national one, also the one on the mainflorida.org website. And this presentation, the PowerPoint slides, will be uploaded on our wiki site, on FLATE's wiki site. Also, Dash is working on a timeline, a kind of generic timeline for about when we should be getting things in place in Florida in the next few months. So we're looking forward to that to help guide us and not quite such a big crunch as we were last September. And anything else, Dash?
I'm just excited. I'm excited that now people can either go to our website and look at Manufacturing Day preparatory plans, and they can sign up on the link that's on this slide and tell us that they want to participate, just like they did last year. Pass this link on to other corporations, other manufacturers, other companies, and just increase our numbers. We did a great job. I mean, really good collaboration among all of us, the RMAs and the trade groups and the colleges. Everybody came together, and it was awesome. It was really fun.
This link where I'm at in the middle went to a gallery of photos that different groups sent in from around the state, plus some images of the different proclamations, so people could get ideas about what those proclamations did. We also have some drafts, templates for those if anyone needs those. If didn't do it last year, we've got some templates for what they might say, what you might say in them, or the wording for that. This kind of outline of who does what when, or what kind of events different people would do, or how different groups can participate, and then lots of resources. Lastly, we did post everybody's events around the state who was hosting different activities, different tours, or open houses. Tallahassee did an open house at their Advanced Manufacturing Training Center. They brought companies and schools to the training center and had a nice event there. They also surveyed the students who came to visit the manufacturing center up there. So again, we wanted to share what everyone was doing so we would all know and we could all be part of the same party. And there is a link that we'll be sending you. There's a form that we put up last year, and it's ready for this year as well, where somebody can just reach out to get more information or say they want to be involved. And what we did here was try to, if they weren't in our area where we're housed in the Tampa Bay area, we would try to find a partner in their location or near them to help them get involved in an event in their own area. So we did have some individuals at some different small organizations, some private schools, etc., that signed up on this webpage, and we're looking for partnerships to participate in Manufacturing Day. So this is a nice vehicle to get those people we don't know and don't work with into the events. All right. Anything else, Janice or Dave?
I think that's it. We do have one question from Lucas Sauer. He says that they can do 45 students at ConMed, and possibly 2 schools total.
Right. Okay.
Excellent. Well, we definitely want to thank everyone for attending our webinar regarding Manufacturing Day for Florida in 2014. We're very excited about what's going to happen for this year and all of the lives we're going to impact and how we're going to have a great workforce prepared for the manufacturers in our state. Huge economic impact. I mean, just all around, we're just going to have a great time having an influence for manufacturers. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us on our webinar. We will be sending you an email, as Dr. Barger said, with links to all of the websites we mentioned and the resources. If you have any other questions, I'm going to stay on the line for another 5 minutes or so feel free to stay on the line with me. Otherwise, have a very great afternoon and have a blessed weekend. Thank you.